I'm not going to do too many. Yeah, you do most of the stuff. I'll just sort of be
Yeah.
a bounce off dude.
All right, we are live. Thank you for joining me tonight, Morgs. It's been a long time since we had you in the commentary booth with me, mate.
Mate, it has been a long time. I can't remember the last time we did this together.
Probably the last top cut, to be honest. But I put the bat signal up this morning, and you've answered, which has been good.
I I think the last time we might have commentated when Travi was in the final against Pat in season 5,
Yeah, I think that would have been it because I didn't really do any last season. Like last top cut,
season 4. I can't remember.
yeah, it would have been, I think it's season five because I missed season. I didn't do any last season, so season 6, and now we're season 7. So,
No, it was season 4 because
oh
season
wow,
5, Ulysses won with Black Order, and so I think season 4 Pat won it, and he played. I'm pretty sure he played Trav in the final in season
he
4.
did, yeah. That
Yeah,
was when Travis had his own Okoye moment. Couldn't
we'll
kill
be there.
her. All right, so we got Reath and we got Sooner. So currently we have Sooner has priority, and we've got portals and hammers. You know, every top cut game I've done, I think this so far has been hammers.
Really,
Yeah, it's been really strange.
your hammer commentary must be pretty on point.
I'm on
Then.
point. Why? At least I'm one of the only people that remembers they have to pay extra power for
No,
tactic
that is
cards.
that is one of the easiest things to forget, I reckon, in
It
this
is.
game.
Yeah, it's like they did hammers and then just went, geez, this is too good. We just got to put like a little negative on this, and then just went full stop. Oh, and pay more power for
Yeah.
tactic cards.
Uh,
So looking like Reath has already picked his squad because the stream review tells you and lets you cheat. So we got Juggernaut, we got Voodoo, we got Zemo, we got Sin, and Crossbones. And then tactic card wise for Reath, we've got Medpack, Dark Rain, Blind Obsession, Field Dressing, and Do You Know Who I Am? And now for Sooner, rocking some Wakanda, man after my heart, and Winter Soldier in Wakanda as well, which is what I've been looking at. We've got Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye, Winter Soldier, Toad, and Voodoo. Interesting that neither brought Black Cat, but not really. They probably don't really need it. And we got Field Dressing, Blind Obsession, Wakanda Forever, Sacrifice, and Brace for Impact. How do you rate? So we got you've played a lot more Sin Cabal games than me, and I've personally only played one Wakanda game into it. But how do you rate Sin Cabal against Wakanda?
well, I really like Sooners having Hulk in his roster, and when Phil and I did a couple of practice games, Phil didn't have an answer for Sooners Wakandan Hulk, so I was surprised Soon didn't take Hulk there. But I can
Yeah.
understand you want the extra bodies on these sort of pay to flips. How do I rate this matchup? I think Sooner is going to have a hard time dealing with Juggernaut. And I think what's going to be key in this is Sin's leadership getting those hammers because they are assets and Phil can steal them with priority and run away. And then sort of castle up in, on 2 of the points. And Sooner has to advance into him and try and take the points back off him.
I like
So
this.
so initially, I think this is really favourable for Phil with a big asterisk,
And
depending on how his Sin leadership roles go on these assets.
that's it
Um,
about Sin, isn't it?
yeah,
Could be good, could be bad. You just don't know.
but when it's good, I mean, if he plays aggressively with Juggernaut and puts Juggernaut up near one of the hammer carriers and gets a Sin leadership role and then gets a 3-1 hammer advantage on the top of round 2, Sooners then got to move up his little minions into Phil's Sin rapid fire castle with Zemo reroll bubbles, etc.
Oh baby. I
So
think even Panther takes damage from that, to be honest. Like that hits hard.
yeah, but Sooners got the numbers advantage, which is always strong. So the
Yep.
safe bet is Sooners squad. The X factor here is Sin's leadership, and I'm not sure he's got a good answer for Juggernaut. So Juggernaut should have a field day in this matchup.
Yep. So we did I did 1 or 2 practice games for Reath prior to like when he locked in his top cut squad, and I was mucking around with Wakanda, and I found that apart from like Voodoo obviously just doing Voodoo shenanigans, there's not much out there that still hurts Panther, except your standard mystic attacks, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
Juggernaut was a wild card because 8 dice is like this weird consistency where it can just spike so high that even 4 auto blocks still takes 3 or 4 damage just from a single punch, you know, and then you got the push and everything else that goes with it. It's
It just overloads his dice, doesn't it? It's like the Corvus Clave's Edge Death Blow. It'll overload Panther's defense.
exactly. But I quite like this. So we'll have Suna will have priority first round, but then that's pretty much I would expect him the last time to have it, unless something goes catastrophically bad for him and he has a bunch of characters get really like dazed. That's that streak, that husband-wife combo. That's something, me personally, I'd like to see tweaked somehow, made better, made easier, made less good. But yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair, certainly on Corvus and Proxima. I think on Sin and Crossbones,
It's okay.
it's quite, it's okay because they're both, they're both 3 threats. They're not world beaters, but it makes them a pretty spicy pair.
Yeah.
So, it's very good for priority manipulation.
And I like that it's not like Corvus Proxima, right, where you have like ultimate flexibility on I'll do Proxima first or I'll do Corvus first or whatever you want. You kind of locked in on I must do Sin first, can't you? She's the only one with the
That's right.
partners in crime.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why hers is 0 and it's only 3 threats, unlike theirs.
Yeah. But maybe that'd be a good tweak. I kind of like where you're at. That could be a nice little tweak for Corvus and Proxima. Hey, what do you think about, Jay, the setup here that the only thing that can sort of deal with Juggernaut is Suna's Voodoo to possess him?
Yep.
And Phil's sort of lined him up opposite Voodoo. How do you feel about that?
I'm kind of torn. So like the puncher in me doesn't mind it because like often the only way to get Voodoo to put his token back on is just to kill him. So put your biggest puncher right across from him and just go straight at him and go really hard at him. But it does kind of negate Juggernaut's like really good effectiveness in his his control over different secures. So I'm unsure, but I kind of like it. Like it's hard. How do you describe it? I'm okay with this.
Yep.
From a puncher's point of view. Probably from a tactical point of view, I would have had Juggernaut maybe having a look at Panther. But again, that's a bit random in that, might be good, big spike, might be bad. If your Juggernaut's just cold for the round, it could be really bad.
Yep.
I don't mind this either, right? So let's Juggernaut picking this up versus Voodoo. Voodoo obviously has 6 defense against the opposing Voodoo, which is really strong, but being only 4 threat, it's a bit easier for Voodoo to get the power, through his different power manipulation shenanigans, stat power, and gaining off skulls to get to that threshold to put the token on in round 1. Whereas I always forget with portals, is there any skull shenanigans on these?
There is. If you roll a skull, you get teleported by your opponent up to range 2 away, or up to range 2 somewhere. So you can be toward away. So
he's rolled the skull. Do you send him into the thick of everything, or do you, launch him back down towards Voodoo or something?
It's a tough call. I mean, it depends how aggressive you are. If you put him towards Voodoo, you're now trying to get 2 attacks into a pretty good Mystic Defense Juggernaut to get him to possess and drop his hammer. But then you've got a Raging Juggernaut in your face at the start of the next round.
Yeah.
So, it all depends on the game plan.
So did Jugs, just want to check the power consumption. Yeah, he did. Okay. I was like, did he do his slide? So he's still got a movement action up his belt, doesn't he?
No, he didn't slide. He just double moved.
He's paid 2 power. Okay, so he's interacted with the portal and picked up the hammer. That's what he's done. Right. Yeah. Understood.
So it's interesting the shape, though. I mean, I know Suna quite likes this spider portal shape, especially if he sees Blackwater across the table in the roster, which Phil had.
Yep.
But he's got Shuri and Winter Soldier, who are 2 range 5 hitters, and they struggle a bit on the D shape because they can't shoot someone else on a different secure if they're on 1. So it's mitigated a little bit by the pay to flip, where they can flip it and leave it.
Yep.
But it does reduce their effectiveness, I find. So it's interesting that he's sort of leaned into the D shape with his 2 range 5.
I'd be keen to see like one of those things just to like map it out just to myself, because you know how obviously Soldier, he can just teleport as long as he has power off of 1 character. I'd be keen to see if you had Shuri, a certain range out where Winter Soldier could teleport back onto the point, like back and on and off the point. If you could, have both of them still affecting another point as well, that'd be interesting. But obviously, is high risk, high reward, because if your soldier doesn't do damage, he doesn't get power to teleport back.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like we say where his soldier is. Let's say Shuri's near this building here on the corner. She could probably reach this bottom, this lower, towards the points and the round scoring.
Yep.
Soldier could teleport off her, appear, double tap, and move back. I think that's actually possible.
Mm-hmm.
But again, your Shuri's kind of stuck in dead water, and you just that's 6 threat invested into just holding your home point. Albeit, it'll be a Winter Soldier with a hammer, which is kind of nice.
Winter Soldier's good with a hammer.
Yeah, I really rate him. He's actually starting to feature in a lot more of my squads. He's really, really, really solid. I did a casual game against Farmer the other week where I had Soldier in a Red Skull Cabal, and it was kind of funny. So Crossbones coming up. I would expect that Crossbones is solely there, right, to do the Sin shenanigans on Panther. If he's within range of it, or is it the range 2 or range 1 that the thing has to go from?
It's twofold. So what he's seeking, there's a couple of things he's chasing here, I think. So the first thing is he's going to threaten Shuri with Crossbones. Phil would be very keen to remove Shuri early in this game.
Yep.
So the second thing is if he's contesting that secure, he can then roll a dice and then push people off it. And then also he can, if he's within range 2 of someone holding an asset, he can then roll a dice and a 50-50 they drop it. But the order of activation is important there because they do the secure first, and he may push Panther away to be out of then the asset drop leadership ability because it's sequential.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I was literally about to ask, is there an ordering to it?
There is.
Because it doesn't say or this.
Oh. You do it in the order it appears on the card.
So he does capture that bottom point sooner, but he does get repositioned.
To be murdered by Voodoo. No,
yeah, I would have launched him forward and had a go at him. But it is Toad. I mean, if you don't one-shot him, you do 1 damage to him or 2 damage to him, he just slippers away and he's back on the point, It's very irritating.
Yep. I'm a little bit nervous for Phil to see, because I just see a Koya on the table and I start getting triggered. But I'm a little bit nervous to see Juggernaut versus a Koya.
We looking back on that? I don't know. I'd like to hope that 8 dice can just, one hitter,
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, it's a Koya. She's still very strong, but she's definitely. How does Travis say it? She's really strong in other affiliations, but in Wakanda, unless you're willing to just throw her in there and burn her into the ground, she's lost a lot of her punch. So Voodoo coming across.
It's a nice pivot from Sooner. I like this, a bit of a rotation. He's seen that it's not going to go well for him on that flank, and he's happy to give that up and say, well, hey, big 5 threat. I want to try and use distance to reduce your impact on the game for as long as possible, and then try and get the advantage somewhere else.
Absolutely. So do you think Sin's going to pick up that home hammer?
Yeah, Sin with the old rapid-fire hammer. I do see Sin getting that hammer. I don't think Zemo will get it. He's a bit more aggressive with Zemo and a bit more cautious with Sin. So I'd see Sin holding the hammer and Zemo getting up in someone's face somewhere. Probably in Shuri's face, to be honest, by the look of this.
I think, Sin with a hammer into Shuri, I would be almost confident that she could one-rounder. That's what I think he's having a look at.
Yeah, I've played a lot against Phil running Cabal and Sin, and he's very good at the range control with his own Sin and keeping her relatively safe, which I think I've tried to play Sin a couple of times. I'm not very good with her. I get too aggressive with her.
Mine just dies. Yeah, mine just dies all the time. But so I always feel like Phil's just can never die.
Yeah, so he does the really good sort of hit and runs. Is he going to pick up that hammer before he moves, or is he forgotten?
I think he's actually just lining up for next turn. So I would say with that measurement that he might be looking at possibly doing both leaderships on Panther. If he hangs around, Phil gets a hammer potentially. If he doesn't, hopefully he gets pushed away. Oh no, we're going straight over. Well,
he's going to open with he'll open with a normal shot and then follow up with a hit and run with Sin.
Yeah, straight back on point. Love it.
Yeah, and I think that's going to see a day's Shuri. Well, he's got sacrifice in there as well. So,
True.
well, drawing sacrifice out early is pretty good for Phil.
Yeah,
So,
you're still happy about it. It's not getting used on saving Voodoo later on as well.
yep,
So Voodoo actually failed his role on that home objective
yeah,
before as well.
yeah.
Oof. This is why I don't play spider portals.
I've got to say, Spider Portals is my least favorite crisis in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, like you roll a skull, boom, that's it. People are messing with your stuff.
Yeah, I used to be Deadly Meteors because you took a damage,
Yeah.
but now the Spider Portals because you get displaced, and it can go very, very badly, very, very quickly with those displacement rolls.
Yep. Interesting move there from Phil, kind of just moving the Okoye, just kind of doing him a favor there, I thought.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't know why you go because now you're getting her
think
bodyguard online, but
she might be out of range there. Just.
yeah, I think he's also doing her a favour by getting her closer to this side.
Yeah, exactly. Because this side I think is going to be a bit more influential because, you know, Sooner brings his home hammer in this direction. That's 3 out of the 4 hammers are going this way.
So it's an interesting little rotation game here, isn't it? In that you can see Phil's team. It's at the main powers at the bottom of the screen in Voodoo and Juggernaut. He's got to deal with Toad before he sort of moves on to the left of screen and goes after Sooner's home point where Winter Soldier is. And then you can see sort of Sooner rotating, clockwise again around to the back of Phil's board. So it's a nice little rotation here.
Oh yeah. Whoa, Phil just caps it. I find when I play these D shapes, especially this kind of one, I quite often, like, I guess with a hammer it's different, you kind of got to commit to both sides, but I quite often don't commit to one of the sides. I make it look like I am, and I just bring those guys to my home point, and then I bring in a big flank, and then I wrap to their home one. I don't know why, I just feel like I have more success doing that. Because when I'm committing to these, both flanks, this is what often happens to me, is that my heavy hitting side is just ignored.
Yeah, yep, that's fair. And often it's, some people would like to put their big hitters more central so they can sort of pivot to whichever side they like.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
I do like... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it's quite funny that both players and most top cut players right now seem to favour a hammer and a rapid fire. Yes, please, I'll take that, right? Versus just going, I'll give Panther 6 dice, even though Panther does have 6 dice, but you know what I mean?
Well, it's value. It's just better value. What I was going to say, though, Jay, was the other thing I really like about Phil's play is the way he's set up Zemo. So he's got Sin ready for the rapid fire and the hit and run into Shuri. And he set up the Zemo reroll bubble.
Yep.
And he also got the rerolls onto Crossbones. And there's not a huge amount of hitting power to deal with Zemo there apart from Panther. So he will start with probably Sin and Crossbones, probably Days Shuri, I'd expect, and maybe start doing some work on Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I would actually be very hesitant to bring Soldier over, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's 3 hammers on that side, so definitely that's where our main fight's going to take place. So I would expect... I mean, the beauty of this objective is, right, you can just capture and leave it. So I would expect them to absolutely... One of these guys to smash Toad on the bottom and the other one to just leave.
Yep, so he's rolling for the secure aspect here and pushing Panther away.
There's a wild, which I think is a success.
It's a 50-50, yeah.
Yep, that's a success.
So that's not great for Phil. He probably wanted him to stay there so he could do the hammer thing to try and heal it. But it's not bad because it means Panther's wasting an action to get back into the fight.
Exactly. And you're out of that instant pounce range. Not that he'll have it online immediately, but there's always a threat.
But yeah, I mean, Phil, Sooner's got 12 points over there in Panther, Shuri, Soldier, and Okoye, and Phil's sitting on 9. But so I'll just pause what I'm saying. So he's pushed Panther into Shuri to try and stop him going away so he can activate the second part of the leadership, being the extract steal.
Yep.
If that makes sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what he's doing now is, so he wants to try and get the extract steal so he can activate Sin and Crossbones, and then Sin does the killing, and then Crossbones can pick up a hammer relatively safely from Panther. And then, best case for Phil, he's Days Shuri, and he's got Panther's hammer. So he will see the really important role and the one that I hate when I play against Sin.
Nailed it.
And he's nailed it.
So I was laughing with Phil in our practice games in the lead up to him choosing for his top cut, in that he played against me with Wakanda and he rolled 0 from 9. And he was like, "Oh, it just doesn't bode well." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Everybody gets one bad dice game in a top cut, and you just got yours out of the way in a fully controlled environment. This is the
So
best case."
this is really strong for Phil here. Really strong. We spoke at pre-game about how it's really important to get some good setup and structure and get a favourable sin roll, and he's got it. And so
Yep.
this is a huge advantage. And now what he needs to happen to really take the game advantage is to have a really good sin activation of Daisy and Shuri, picking up that hammer and then surviving with points parity or better this round. And I think he's in a really good spot.
Absolutely. It's looking decent so far.
Oh, this is
Four hits on the opener with a
Yep.
Zemo reroll into
So good.
4. So 4 total. Finn is an auto rapid fire as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's the Omega threat.
Yeah, she's. I think her rapid fire is really strong.
Yeah. The only other one like that is what, like Agent Widow?
Agent Widow. Yeah, and I think I have to check Punisher. I haven't played him in a while.
Ooh, double crit on this opener.
But she's deceptively, her output is deceptively high, the way Phil sets up his little Zemo castle bubble.
Oh, yeah. I was doing it not this season, but last season with Moon Knight and Zemo together. That little 6-threat combo quite often would punch far and above what it was worth. So that is a dazed Shuri. We do still have field dressing online, so it might not stick.
So it's interesting here because I don't think he'll want to give anyone else any power. If he wants to go aggressive, he can go after Winter Soldier.
Yep.
But the downside is you might give him some power for the field dressing. No, he's going against Panther. Okay.
Not Percy. He's probably just trying to generate some power. I think he paid for hit and run, and he's probably assumed that there's a good chance that this will do no damage, right?
Yeah. He's hit and run to get out of there and wants to generate some more power for himself. So quite a good play.
Yep. Although we are sneaking one in, and you've got to be nervous about giving Panther power when he's sitting in mantle range.
But he's got Medpack on the table though, so the damage against Panther is a bit of magic here because it'll stick, which
That's
is
a good
rare.
point. And no damage on the second shot, so only sneaking one in.
So you see him measuring now. He's measuring for 4, which is the partners in crime.
Yep.
It's a hit and run, it's a move action, so he's allowed to climb, and he'll do as far away as possible to get his cover, but then still be in range to activate crossbones.
Solid.
He'll then grab the hammer, and then he may retreat. I don't know if he wants to sit there and take it. I think he'll retreat.
Do you think he's kind of might be leaving Zemo? Oh, Zemo's fairly tanky, to be honest. And he is in cover from Winter Soldier as well.
Yeah. Look, he might lose Zemo from Panther or someone else, but he's got priority next round, so he's fine with a juiced up Zemo potentially activating first next round.
That's true. That is true. And Crossbones should have no power.
No, because he should have 1 because he didn't try and contest. He's only got 2 energies.
He literally just walked up, didn't he? Yeah. He didn't actually attempt to interact with that.
So he literally walked up to do exactly what played out. And then as someone facing Sin, that's the part that I really despise. It's the 50% chance of losing your extract, and then someone runs away with it. Now, sometimes it's Angela, who then double long moves away.
Your extract is gone.
Well, if you put Angela, say where that police car is, and you've got 2 extracts hammers there, she can potentially pick them both up and then double move away. And then it's almost back over.
Yeah, exactly. That's like old school Angela shenanigans.
You've got to be really careful into Sin where you put, you don't want to clump your extracts together.
Which is essentially what's happened. So it's very clever positioning. So I actually don't mind where Suda's Winter Soldier is. He potentially, to be honest, so when Reath measured his crossbones, right, he was only just out of range 5. So if Winter Soldier can somehow generate a power, which is probably going to be from shooting Zemo, he can teleport off of Okoye and actually project himself forward to have a go at crossbones if he wants. Not that it'll do much damage though, because crossbones can be very frustrating when you're hitting him with physical dice.
So just eyeballing it, I didn't see those measuring things. I must have just zoned out, but that looks like it's within range 5 to me between Winter Soldier and crossbones.
Oh no, when he actually was moving crossbones, he kept the 5 down.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Look, I think if you're shooting crossbones, that's a win for Phil.
Yeah.
He's the dude. He's the same resilience as Kingpin. Just 1 less health.
Exactly. And he does have quite decent attacks, right? I do like his overpower. I do like his... I mean, Haymaker is massively... I would have loved to have seen Haymaker just be 2 dice for 3 power, but, 3 dice is always nice, as we've seen with Juggernaut. Just cost him 4 power to get to it. Not that he'll probably do it at all, but...
He's a hitter. I played a Sin game against Sin in round 4 of Swiss, and my opponent's Crossbones, with no special trickery, KO'd Juggernaut from full health on his flip side in 1 activation, just with dice and his normal attacks.
Jeez.
Yeah, savage.
That is savage. So Panther has done a pounce, which I'm on board with, getting a bit of free damage. Although it is sometimes frustrating when this happens. Okay, 1 going through. At least you sunk 1 in.
Yep.
So, me personally, if I'm a Sooner here, I'm prioritizing trying to get 4 power somehow. One of my characters needs to get 4 power to try and bring Shuri back online. This is a good step towards it.
Very good attack. It's a good defense roll, though.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
A very good defense roll. Wow.
Phil is riding that hot dice wave right now.
Mm.
I mean, the Sin one was not really hot dice in that I think that's fairly consistent, but this is definitely hot dice. So we're going to get a push. I think, I was going to say, if you're trying to trap, this is one of those things with Panther where you're trying to move in a way where you can trap somebody. I think the best trap I ever got with my Panther was your first weekend playing Thanos.
You realised Thanos, didn't you, with Hulk and Panther?
Yeah, that was a good weekend.
It was sad for Black Order. That was the first time I started playing them.
Yep. I think it was like without gems though. I think it was just no gems.
Yeah.
So sinking 4, which is what we wanted, and that's a day's Zemo as well.
It's good. 2 good hits in a row from Sooner.
Good to see that it's going both ways, right? There's nothing worse than just seeing a top nut game where it's just mega hot dice on one side and the other guy is just trying to recover from it the entire game.
And he's within range to be able to field dress Shuri. So that's probably the biggest downside for Phil there.
Yeah.
Is that Panther's now had his cake and eat it. He did the pounce, he did the damage, and he's got his field dressing online.
Oh, yeah.
So what's interesting is, how we said, hey, Sin's shooting Panther. It's nice because the damage sticks, but he gave him enough power to enable that.
Yeah.
So it was his fault. He could have just moved Sin away, and Zemo would probably still be alive.
Exactly, and that's why, even when he was pushing him, I was like, it's good because he's been pushed and he's only got the 1 health, right? But then, like we said, the free damage, and he's back, baby. So that was Reath interacting with the... Was that Inheritor Portal? No way.
Feature. Yeah, it must have been the terrain feature.
Ah, okay.
So this is the good way to deal with Toad. You throw something at him first to try and reduce his health pool.
Yep. So he can't slippery.
Yep. So he has to deal with Toad before he leaves that point because Toad will be a menace and potentially, interact at range 2 and then go and get the home point.
Yep. Ooh.
Good defense Sooner. Phil will be a bit frustrated there. His eyes probably lit up with what he could do.
Both players, except for that one single Zemo roll there, have rolled fairly well.
No, that's good. As long as it's... I like it when it's even.
Yeah. So Toad will actually live on...
So Toad shouldn't be able to slippery away here because he didn't take damage.
Slippery was damaged by attack, correct. So shouldn't be able to slippery.
Damaged him?
This is red templates, so no, they're both red templates.
Yeah.
That's why I actually like it when they just leave their stock standard templates because you can figure out who's measuring what.
So Sooner's got the... I've actually got those. The one Sooner's got on the mod, I've got those in real life. Got them on...
Quite nice. Are your movement templates short?
I've not... Oh, I don't know. I've not measured.
Because I have like some Guardians of the Galaxy ones that are like that, but my movement templates are short. So I end up having to use my normal ones.
I'll have a look. I've never even thought about it. I know Jimbo's doing some custom... I commissioned some templates from him.
Oh, yeah. I've got some of those in my set, and they are used over my Guardians of the Galaxy ones.
So I think Phil will be frustrated here that he didn't get Toad with a throw and then 2 attacks. Did he do 2 attacks or just 1?
I think he did 2 because there was the turn opened up with a 5 dice just being rolled.
Yep. All right, so Toad's going to interact. He's trying to get 2 out of 3. He gets it.
Nailed it. That's huge.
That's frustrating for Phil because he would want to get Juggernaut in the fight, not worry about this spider portal. And now Toad can go and get the home portal uncontested.
Yep. And he's got the... you can just double move right and grab it easy.
Yeah.
So good turn of events for Phil in that he has the majority of the hammers, and I would expect that unless something goes catastrophically bad, that's not going to change. But he's lost control of 4 out of 4 portals. So
well,
5,
he hasn't lost the 4th one yet.
No.
But he probably should lose it.
Yeah.
You should get one back here, I think, with Juggernaut.
Absolutely,
I like Suna's play that he's leaving, Phil's big hitters on the bottom of the table and forcing them to be as irrelevant as possible. That's very clever from Suna.
Yep.
I think Juggernaut probably has to go now. I mean, he's got a decision to make with Juggernaut, doesn't he? Does he try and get that portal back, or does he just go to the home portal and go and get in the fight?
I think I would go to the home portal, to be honest. I feel like it would have, turns and turns worth of like downstream effects if Juggernaut wastes time trying to move and get this inheritor portal, because it's kind of awkward for him, right? Voodoo's in the way. There's that street. The light is in the way as well. It's kind of awkward for him to get to it. So I think I'd just go straight for the home point.
It's a good call, I think, Jay, because even if he does go for that bottom of the screen portal, he might get a disastrous roll and get a skull and get teleported further away into irrelevance.
Exactly.
A huge risk. So I think I agree. If Toad does get after this right of screen portal that he's considering now, I think Phil has to commit Juggernaut to it.
Yeah.
The upside is he might be able to daze Toad in the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Juggernaut still, I've not played as many games against him as you and Phil have obviously played against each other, but I've probably played about 6 or 7 games against Juggernaut, and he still shocks me how fast he is. Like the ground that he can cover is insane.
To my mind, he's the best 5 in the game.
Yep.
And it's probably not that close.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I think he's exceptional.
And so we're trying to stay outside of 2 here, or are we trying to stay in it?
I think he's trying to stay outside of 2 to make Crossbones do a move.
Yep. Somehow Crossbones just needs to generate 1 power next turn, and he can just range 3 overpower.
Yeah, I wonder how you do that with natural power generation.
It's always funny. It always gets me off. It catches me off guard. He nails it with Crossbones every single time when he just like, oh, your spend is 2 power, and it's range 3, and you teleport off it. It's one of those things where you've just like you're stuck in your mindset if you bought the core set that Crossbones wasn't very good, but he's actually quite decent. Now I was thinking before. When I first started playing, I always looked at hit and run and was just like, oh, this is not very good. Like charge is just obviously superior in every single way. And now it's quite funny that the more I play, the more I start to prefer hit and run on these long range of characters. It's quite funny just seeing it like swap around as the time goes on, where charge is starting to become like, yeah, it's kind of nice, but the hit and run is far more devastating.
Yeah, well, they're different, right? I mean, the charge gets you in the fight. The hit and run is the defensive, keep you out of the fight, or do the sort of the tactical move and shoot and still do some objective play. I prefer hit and run over the 2.
Yep.
But they're both very good. So this is really important activation for the health of the game for both players here. If Winter Soldier bounces off Sin for nothing, whilst Phil is at a bit of a disadvantage on the secures, he's still looking okay.
Yep.
If Winter Soldier spikes into Sin and dazes her, Phil is in trouble.
Yes. I'll say twofold because it means that Soldier can be the one that pays the field dressing. So we're looking at a Panther Mantle activation next turn, which is that can rapidly go out of control. And obviously because then he's got 2 characters on his flip side versus potentially Suna's 0.
So he will have cover, which is good, but it's it's a
triple block.
Okay, good. So good dice from both players.
Yeah,
good to see.
So we're looking at 1 going through. I would absolutely potentially pay the power here to try and push it home. So still keeping Panther Soldier at 1 power. And Sin gets 2 power for that, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
And a triple block again versus a triple hit.
Okay. Good dice from both players.
Thank God the Shuri reroll bubble is offline.
Yeah.
I don't think I would spend any power chasing this one. First attack, yes. Second attack, no. Because you're spending a power to potentially just lose it. Oh, no, we're going for it.
I mean, Sin's the key to get rid of. I think going after Sin as hard as you can. I think I agree. I would have saved the power for the for your what's his one? Got your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get to 3 power for it nowadays, but it does leave his teleport online for him if he wants it.
All right. So I think we still Phil pass again here. Do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Even if he does field dress Shuri, I don't think it's going to be that impactful. It's not really change anything. So I'd be actually happy for him if I was Phil for Sooner to field dress Shuri here.
Agreed. Yeah.
If he doesn't know,
it's not getting used on one of the bigger pieces.
Well, depends if Okoye. Yeah, depends if Okoye gets to the bodyguard range.
I think she might struggle for this. It's a bit awkward.
Yeah, he's got sacrifice in there as well, though.
True.
What you might, we might see is, I'm excited to see what Phil does next turn.
You reckon he might start with a Sin and Crossbones with both hammers sitting there, or do you think he starts with a Zemo?
I think
maybe some Steel Rush to get him out of there.
I think Zemo's going to go get after Voodoo.
Ooh, I like that. I've been on the receiving end of Zemo into my Voodoo before, and you would think that Voodoo at 4 defense would be able to take that punch, but he often can't.
Yeah, so Suna's doing a lot of positioning here to try and set up his bodyguard bubble with Okoye and still do some influence on the fight. Next round for Phil, he'd already be thinking about, well, okay, if I don't activate Zemo first, he's going to KO. And if I do activate Zemo first, though, Sin's in real danger.
Yep.
So it's a tough call for Phil on what he does first.
Do you think I think that Okoye is in range of Winter Soldier? I think she is. I didn't see. That was the only one I didn't see him measure.
I think eyeballing it looks out, but it could well be in.
So we're seeing the Crossbones here.
Crossbones, yeah.
It might take 2. Yeah, it'll take 2. So pay 1 and take 2.
Good attack dice from Suna.
Very good.
Making it Phil.
There's a lot of damage sitting on that side of the board, isn't there?
Yep. Which is interesting because Phil's got the damage team.
Yeah. It's weird sometimes when this happens with Wakanda, right?
So I think Phil lets this. I don't know if he aggressives back onto this. If he aggressives back onto it, whoa.
It's gone straight for Toad.
He's aggressive in that way. Why didn't Shuri push him? Sorry, it was Okoye. Yeah. Okay. So he could try and get himself some cover and going on to Toad.
Yep. So end of... we got Juggernaut to go. And Suna's Voodoo.
Yeah, good call, Phil. So he's, as we discussed earlier, he agrees with you, Jay, and he's going to get Juggernaut.
Yeah, because Voodoo can start next round by having a go at this.
Absolutely.
He does need to get his Voodoo into the fight, because that is a 4 threat currently sitting out and about.
So move, slide, and then
have a punch.
Destroy Toad's life. 9 dice because he's got a hammer.
You'd be shocked if Toad survives this, but currently it's 1 hit.
Oh dear. Phil would be very frustrated.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see a Wakandan reroll. And
I would actually take the punch here. I would take the damage.
I know he's...
yeah, you would have been on 2 power and you could slippery out of there.
Oh, he's blocked it.
Interesting. He wants to stay in there and fight. So you have 1 power. If he takes the 1 hit there, he can move to the other side of this fountain or something. He's got options to try and get away from it.
Yeah. And
he manages to put that as well, which is good.
So this is a lot of people struggle with this in Marvel, and I understand is that when you're playing a game, you've just had all Suna's little minnows who are all 2 and 3 threats doing big damage to you. Then you get your big centerpiece goes over and has his big swing into those little minnow 2 threats and does nothing. You're like, man, this game is so frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. 9 dice attack for 1 hit is like I want a math guy just do the odds for me. I want to say it's single digits, and I want to say it's like very, very, very low.
But that's, I suppose, what I was getting at is what I've tried to learn and what I'm still learning, but I think I do better than I used to, is that you just accept that Marvel.
It
Um,
happens sometimes, yeah.
you just don't expect even stuff to occur and don't get tilted by it.
Because Travis always say, he goes, it's okay, swings and roundabouts. Because as long as this
Yes,
game, as long as you can make it and you can extend the turns out, there'll be a turn where Juggernaut walks up and drops 8 damage on something.
and Travis says actually always rolls well.
Correct.
All right, so we see Voodoo's going to have a crack at Crossbones here.
Yep. Nice.
So I'm surprised how aggressive Suna's playing, actually.
Yeah. Currently for 0 damage into Crossbones. It'll pling plunk through.
Yep.
Would he have cover there? I don't think so. He actually technically would have cover there.
Yeah, he should eyeballing that. He should. But cover is a May, so it's up to them.
Yeah, exactly. I probably would do it. Crossbones pays 1 and looks like he takes no damage. Arthur, thanks for the like, mate.
And we didn't see a skull, so Voodoo hasn't got enough power to possess Crossbones.
Thank God. It'll be catastrophically bad for Phil if he fails this roll on his Voodoo. And one of Voodoo's weaknesses is that he is very bad at these things. Only 2 dice.
Yeah.
You know, like vision.
This is fascinating. So should see the end of the round. There's no... Should be a push here onto Toad, trying to contest the secure.
Yep.
Doesn't push him, but it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And then do we see any... who's holding the hammer for its Winter Soldier?
Yep.
So we'll see Zemo.
Nails it.
Nails it. So this is the frustrating part of Sin's leadership I found, which I think is unbalanced, is that even if the character is dazed, you can make a hammer.
Very strong.
So now Phil has priority, and he's dropped a second extract. Soon will be scratching his head going, Sin must die. But this is really important. This is huge for Phil, what he does here. Because as we spoke about earlier, if he doesn't activate Zemo first, Zemo is probably going to KO.
Yeah, so with being stuck against Panther like that, it's almost a must.
But then if he does that, Sin's probably going to daze. So he's torn a bit, and Crossbones is sweating a little bit now, having Voodoo so close. So I think we're going to see Zemo grab the hammer and try and murder Voodoo.
Yep.
But we've got a Koye with Bodyguard and Sacrifice, so it's a tough call.
Yeah, it might just end up being you kill Okoye. So what I was getting at with Soldier before is if he's not within 2 Okoye, him double spending that power, what he could have actually done, you know, in hindsight, is teleported off Shuri and been out of the Sin rapid fire range. Because if Okoye is not in range there, that Soldier is an actual like valid, you know, murder target for Sin instead of her having to shoot Panther. You know, this is for later on. We're obviously looking like we're going to go for Zemo here, and he's going to try and get Shuri, try and remove a body. And I like that he's charging outside of range because there's a good option here that if it does get bodyguarded, that he one shots Shuri. Okoye.
Then he's looking at his medium advance from Steel Rush to get on the point.
He might make that.
Yeah,
it'd be very close. Yeah, I think he makes that no problem because. There was a character earlier sitting within one of that portal and they were half hanging out from the building.
Ooh, still going for Dark Rain. Okay.
Aggressive. To Shuri. Must die.
So I don't love these options at the moment for Dark Rain because you got Sacrifice and Bodyguard online.
Yeah.
But I think Phil's saying, well, there's probably not going to be a better time for it than now.
True. And if you do if he does the, what's the name, the Master Swordsman on Zemo, at least he's still going to have full rerolls, even if it does pivot to Okoye.
Who did he put Dark Rain on?
Shuri.
I think he put on Winter Soul.
No, that's...
Shuri.
Yeah, Shuri,
yeah. Okay.
Okoye's on the Bodyguard.
Bodyguard, yep.
Massive roll in and a single block. So currently she's alive. Ooh.
So do Zemo rerolls. He must have Master Swordsman here. He did.
Dead. She's dazed.
So really smart play by Phil in his positioning that he was outside of 2 of Okoye, I want to say.
Yep. He was. Yeah, he measured it so that he was sitting about half a base out.
Yep. And it was good to see some good dice for him because Sooners had some good attacks. And So you won't get a meter of advance off a normal strike.
I think he's paying for it now.
Oh, he's now going to do
Yeah.
a steel rush into Shuri.
Yeah, with the double reroll. No, single reroll.
Well, she's got the Dark Rain.
I just don't think he's paid for Master Swordsman though. I think he's thinking about it.
No, so he did the Master Swordsman and killed Okoye. Now
Yeah.
he's done Steel Rush into Shuri, but soon is going to sacrifice it onto Panther by the look of it.
Don't mind that either. So you're looking? Would you choose Master Swordsman? You can do it as many times as you want.
Well, he's done Master. He's done no, I wouldn't Master Swordsman because what he's looking at is a Steel Rush and then a medium advance and trying to get on the point and then flip it.
Yep.
So he wants to save power.
Onto Soldier instead, actually.
Dude, this is a massive spike from Philly. This is massive.
What does Travis say? All comes in roundabouts.
So that is significant.
That's massive. The Panther has no valid kill target, and interesting choice on pushing that onto Soldier. I mean, obviously Soldier's far less important than Panther, but he also can't take the punch. Not that you would want that attack going onto your Panther anyway, so it's, in hindsight, good call. And he still has a field dressing online, the Panther as well.
Yeah, but so the good thing here is he's burning through...
just out of range from the look of it, by the way. Just out.
Well, we could jump in. That portal's reset. 1 sec, I'm just going to jump in.
Yep. They're already resetting it. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Just wanted to make sure they were
redoing it. Good job. I didn't even see it move. You pick up.
Yeah, the mod does bizarre things. So what he doesn't want to see is a skull here. This would be bad if he sees a skull.
Yeah, push him back in. Safe. Huge.
So
huge
I think
swing.
That's pretty much the dream start for Phil. He had some really good dice and burnt through sacrifice. And he's still... Yeah. And the big sort of long range hitter with that hammer he didn't have the hammer anymore, but Winter Soldier.
I would expect a field dress to be played from Suno this round. He's got 2 targets for it. It does. Panther's sitting at that annoying health pool, like power pool though, where if he does do the field dressing on Panther, he will not have enough power to do a pounce or a mantle. So it's a bit of spray and pray. So currently 6 VPs going to Reath and 2 to Suna. It's actually good to finally see a decent Sin game. Although I am very happy also seeing Wakanda, because I was saying on stream the other day, there's no affiliation I've found that really screams out at me. You get your X-Men fanatics and your X-Force fanatics and all that. I don't really have anything like that. But the closest I've got to that is probably Wakanda. I do enjoy them. But it's not because I like Wakanda, it's just I like rerolls.
Right. Field dressed Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I like it.
Winter Soldier's a chance to get after Sin.
Yeah, he's got all the power he needs for it. Sadly, he won't be able to do a teleport and a spender.
Yeah.
But he just has to... I think it's 4 power for his spender. So he needs 6. But I mean, he just goes forward and does his rapid fire first, right?
Yeah. Winter Soldier did Hydra Tactics for 2 power to get closer.
Yep. So you probably were looking at a rapid fire into a spender / rapid fire. But you got to be careful. If you are... she's out of cover. If you... Something I was thinking about the other day. Good rolls from both. Jeez.
Yep.
If you do the Winter Soldier spender and it's got an auto push on it, and you push yourself out of stealth range, you don't get to do the rapid fire attack into it, do you? Sorry, you push yourself out of range 3. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, for stealth?
Yeah.
I'd have to... I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
It almost came up in one of my games recently, but I was just in range, but it was just one of those interesting questions.
If it's a push before... You then do a assault rifle attack.
Yep. Jeez. Snatty 4s all round for everybody. Sin will be getting dazed.
Yeah. Well, we said that was going to happen, didn't
Yeah,
we? That if
yeah.
you activate Zemo, you're at risk of days in sin.
I'd rather have a dazed in than a dead Zemo.
Yeah, look, I agree. Absolutely.
If Winter Soldier doesn't, hopefully, Bruno has picked up on the threat of Sin at this point, and he does his teleport back. Grab the hammer and leave.
Teleport again off the same character.
Yes, sir. That's where soldiers teleport is.
How many times do you want?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
You can just ping back and forth. That's what I was talking about with the
Yeah,
Shuri shenanigans at the start. You can teleport often on the point with Soldier. You just need to, have enough damage to keep it up. If it was going to be one of those like really wide games.
So while they're deciding this, who do you think Phil's next activation is going to be?
I think that Crossbones is in a little bit of danger here. Juggernaut is not, except for Voodoo's only going to generate 2 power to turn Juggernaut off. So like that's of a minor concern, I think, at this point. Probably I would say Crossbones.
I think I agree.
Yeah, because Voodoo is your activation you do this turn if you are trying to stall for time. Like you need your activation to happen later, and that doesn't need to happen yet. I would fully expect Reath to go Crossbones, Juggernaut, Voodoo, or potentially Voodoo and Jugs would swap around.
So that little play we're talking about. So I agree. I think Crossbones dazes Toad and then runs away a bit from Voodoo.
Yep. Just get some distance going.
Yep.
Or at least, keep the cover going.
Oh, he's teleporting again.
Yeah, baby, get that point out of there. He had five power, so yeah.
Jeez. So he spent 6 power on teleports and 1 to pick up the hammer for 7.
He's good. Get him out of range.
That's really good Winter Soldier play.
Yeah, I was doing that to Barman the other day. Because when you're under that Red Skull leadership, all you got to do is 1 damage and you can generate a teleport.
And he's rolled very hot.
Wow.
Oh.
Zemo taking 4 damage from that out of nowhere.
Did he get a reroll?
I don't know.
So this is Phil would be frustrated by that. You'd feel pretty safe there.
Luckily, alive.
Well, he gets a Wakanda reroll.
I'm concerned though for Zemo's life because Shuri's still sitting there. Dark Reign's kind of wasted on her at this point, and Shuri can, almost trivially do the 1 damage. So
why is he putting 5 dice out again?
Hammer.
You've shot.
Yeah. Well, we shot twice. Yeah.
Yeah. He's paying 1 to do a reroll.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Phil still has his reroll up his sleeve as well.
Yeah, I didn't see Phil do a reroll on that first attack. Maybe I just missed it. But it's a May, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not often for him to miss a Zemo reroll. Ooh, nasty.
If Philly doesn't block it now, will be a disaster.
Yeah.
Why isn't he rerolling? Why, Phil? Why aren't you using Zemo?
Soldier has nothing that stops rerolls. Shuri rerolls coming in. That's why we're doing it. Untidy, but as we've got there in the end. No, that's a dead Zemo.
So that's bad. That's a disaster for Phil.
Yeah. That's the strength of that Winter Soldier teleport. It can catch you off guard. He can just appear out of nowhere with a rapid fire, ready to serve up.
Very strong. And
the best part is he gains power equal to damage dealt. So he's on 3 power. He'll be starting next round on 4 power. So he actually can do it again and appear in front of Sin and do it again.
Yeah, great play by Suna. And Phil would be a sad panda now.
Yeah, absolutely. His Voodoo absolutely has to get in the fight. I think it would almost be...
Sacrifices offline, Bodyguard's offline, and Field Dressing's offline.
Yep.
So it's Juggernaut prime time now.
Yeah.
And he needs a big round from Juggernaut now.
Absolutely.
Or a big activation from Juggernaut. But I think he sticks with the Crossbones first to get rid of Toad, and then it's Juggernaut turn.
Do you just little thing with how that just went for him. Do you instead pop Juggernaut now in the attempt to daze Voodoo so that you don't get tokened?
You got to do it in one shot.
Yeah.
You've got three rerolls online.
Well, how much power has he got? Jugs. Yeah, he has to do it in one shot. That's not good odds.
No.
No, I think you'd have to hold it then.
It's kind of the reason I didn't like that Dark Rain before, because I think Suna had too much defensive tech to pull the Dark Rain.
Right? Like, you think Dark Rain happening next round with sacrifice offline, potentially you might be able to, throw a Koya out of the way.
Well, I think Suna was going to do that defensive tech anyway to keep Shuri alive, so the Dark Rain was unnecessary, I thought.
He absolutely needs this Toad to be dazed, and it's not going to happen. One.
He'd be frustrated.
One. That's his second attack. I mean, I will say both parties had some exceptional rolls. Like that Zemo activation was insane.
So here's the problem, though, is that he moved first. What he could have done was do a normal attack and then do his maybe generator power or do a second attack. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have to. By moving first, you're locking yourself into RNG.
Right.
At least give yourself the option of attacking first.
Yeah. He's completely locked. You're right. He's completely locked into it. Voodoo's going to come up. He's probably going to punch Crossbone once. Oh no, we're going to do Toad. That's a good play. Get Toad over here.
Yeah. So this is why I really do not like this that Crossbones play by Phil there.
Yeah. What a swingy game. This game has just gone up both ways hard. Just this round alone. Swung massively to Reath and swung massively to Suna. And both off the backs of a 3-threat.
And they've both had... So I think Suna's had the better attack dice, and that's really put Phil on the back foot. But Phil had that awesome spikes with that Zemo activation.
Yeah.
But
definitely Suna's dice have been exceptional. His have not turned off. Reath's have gone up and down, but...
Which is really putting the pressure on all the scoreboard, because he's just getting all the damage through he wants every time.
Nails it. No skull either.
So Phil just needs to hang in long enough and keep the points under control enough for the dice to sort of swing back and get him back in the game. But it's not looking
quite a fast. So I would expect this to end at the end of next round, I would say.
All right. So Voodoo has rolled for the
successful and no skull either. He'd be very thankful about that. And he can also do a drive-by on Toad here. Not the...
Yeah, I think I'd be going after Toad.
Yeah. I mean, that hammer's sitting there floating in the corner as well.
No, he's doing violence, is he? He's worried about this bubble. I think I'd go clear at that back point with Toad.
Yeah, agreed. Because like he's then within striking distance of the bubble anyway.
Yeah. The downside of leaving this point is it opens up for as soon as Voodoo to go and chase it.
Right.
Which is interesting. So
you wouldn't be upset about that though. It would suck, but you wouldn't be upset about seeing as Voodoo leave the fight.
That building would be like, it's in the way.
It's always in the way. Gets there anyway.
So he needs 2 out of 2
though.
2 out of 2. That's not great odds.
No.
But you got to get it there. Please. You got
to. Got worse. I think of all the plays, that was probably the incorrect one. That's the one that I would not have done. Voodoo, like Vision, is not good at roll for objectives. I probably would have had a swing at Toad, and that's just me personally.
He might have been out of range.
Yeah, true. Oh, medium move and range 3. Yep, pretty close.
Yeah, this is going badly for Phil. He's got a couple of skull rolls in the
Panther summon Lord.
Yeah.
Panther's only got 1 power though, so he can't make that.
So I think Juggernaut is going to be the only thing that saves this round for Phil, if he rolls well.
Yeah.
Which is not a good place to be in, is it? Just relying on the RNG.
That's it. He's due for it. Juggernaut's last attack was a spectacular failure. A couple of key pieces just going the wrong way for him. Toad can be one of those frustrating characters as well when he starts to hang around. You know, especially like this 3 damage on him. He generates power for power phase. If you only do one hit to him, that toad's gone. He's in the wind. Like it can be infuriating to deal with.
Yeah, I think I would have liked Crossbones to do the first, probably just do the 2 attacks and try and get Toad there, and accept that you're going to get voodooed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Voodoo's got the 3 power anyway. He can just swing by and nail Crossbones at will. It's always funny for a Shuri player when they're forced to pick up a hammer on Shuri. It's always funny.
So we might see another pass from Phil, and I think Phil might be eyeballing Shuri here.
Yeah. I mean, it's twofold bad on Shuri as well, because her Wakanda Forever now costs 2 power. Not that she doesn't have that, but, you know, if you go a bit hard on the rerolls, she won't. Interesting that bubble is slowly getting turned offline. You might have thought about it just then, but I think he should be still in range there. Yeah, he's in range. I would say that's in range. Just a quick eyeball.
Another pass from Phil, you think?
Yeah, I think he has to.
All right. So what's the points looking like? So it's currently 4 apiece, which I think that was a bit of a disaster round for Phil. I've got to be honest. Like he rolled well to get the 2 assets or the 2 hammers. Last round in this round, but the damage wise, it all went badly for him. And getting KO'd on Zemo
out of nowhere as well. Like that was that was not on my radar. It was not on your radar. I would highly doubt if it was on his radar as well.
But having said all that, it's still parity, which is a net win for Phil, because with such a bad round, what you don't want to see is heaps of damage coming in and then the points swinging horribly out of your control.
Yes, yeah, 100%. It's usually what happens on a gamma wave. Usually you have a bad round and you lose 7 VPs or something as well. Whereas this one, at least, like you said, parity means that, you know, if Reath can get a good priority activation next round, he might be able to swing it. Some key dazes or KOs or whatever, swing it into his favor.
I don't think it'll stay parity though. I think we'll see Sooner go up this round, probably with Voodoo getting the hammer off Crossbones.
Yeah, that's the target. Although if you can hold that, he has to do Voodoo last, right? You do Panther first. If you do Voodoo first here and you put the token onto Crossbones, because I don't think Voodoo should be able to daze him naturally with his attacks anyway.
Probably
then
not with
Jugs is just gonna probably wreck him. Yeah.
So he's thinking about setting up Panther for a Sin kill, I would expect.
I like that. Apply the pressure. Sins without the hammer, not good odds of doing any damage into him.
But it's just also a leadership. That's the big one.
True.
So I do like what Sooner has done here. If you look at his 2 asset carriers in Winter Soldier and Shuri, they're a long way away from Phil's guys. So for Phil to go and get that leadership trigger, he's going to have to move Juggernaut right up there.
That's it.
Which is massive, by the way. Like he might be able to do it. He might be able to.
It might be worth it, to be honest. You get both of those to drop, then you open up the next turn with Jugs picking up 2 hammers.
So he's looking at a Shuri reroll bubble for Voodoo. How far does he have to get? Bit of legal trigonometry. And I did say legal, not illegal.
Yeah, legal.
Yeah. So I'm surprised he didn't do Panther last.
Yeah.
Next, but he might be looking at Panther doing Wakanda Forever to push Crossbones off that point and maybe score it. Maybe he can.
Yeah. I'm just nervous if he drops his Brother Daniel token.
This is a bit of a gambit, I think. But Sooner's probably feeling pretty good about damage, and he's got some good rerolls to come through.
True.
He's got all the rerolls he needs, to be honest. So I don't think he would get Crossbones though. I mean, Crossbones is a resilient dude.
He's got no blocks currently.
Right, so we've paid 2 off Shuri.
Yep, which is now a little point of note is that Shuri cannot afford Wakanda Forever at the start of next turn, or at any point until she generates 1. Crossbones take 1.
Okay, that's enough for him to pick up the hammer, pick up the hammer, and run away. But it won't be enough to recall Brother Daniel.
Yes.
When Juggernaut comes and steals his lunch money.
which is what I'd assume he'd be going for.
So it's interesting he went forward here. It might block a Panther landing path, but
Possibly,
it does.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done his advance. I don't mind it. Just moving Crossbones up to just say, look, I know that my option out of this next round is violence. So Crossbones being, further away with how slow he is.
We just see Voodoo run away like a coward.
You should see him run away like a coward.
Oh, that's right. He moved and attacked. That's right.
Yeah,
So
that's
what was
true. Yeah.
so soon as threatening that back point, saying, "Hey, if you leave it, Panther's going to go and get it." But Juggernaut says, "Cool story. I'm going to kill Voodoo."
I
They need
see.
to.
I see your bait, and I'm going to have it. Got
He
brace for
wanted-
impact online.
Yeah.
I mean, Saudis.
So he-
He can't afford it. He can't afford it. You throw now.
So he needs a massive. He needs to daze Voodoo here.
He should
or
be
else-
doing his throw right now.
He should be. Yes. No, he cost him 4 power because he's got a hammer.
Copy. Yep. There you go.
Another bad roll from Juggernaut.
Wow,
Phil will be seething.
mate. I'm seething for him. I don't even if it's my worst enemy. I find joy in seeing just things happen consistently. That's why I like playing Wakanda. And when I see 2 attacks from a 9 dice carrier like that, for a total of 3 hits, I am on the cusp of a table flip for my opponent.
Yeah, you just want to see like an average roll, don't you?
Yeah, because that makes a good game, right? Like we're talking like this is a casual, at home game. That makes the interesting game, right?
So Phil's going to reset now and go, bugger, that plan didn't work.
Yeah.
And it could have. I mean, he could have one-shotted Voodoo. 9 into 2, that's very, very possible. And then that's all of a sudden Phil's in the box seat.
Do you think he tries to slide back on point?
It's rough.
Panther can't push him off.
He wants to go get after these little potatoes in the back line.
Yeah, true.
But he needs to protect his points. So, oh man, I think if I'm him...
Med pack?
Okay, he's going to med pack.
Like that. Get Crossbones back online.
I don't love it because Panther's going to get that point and he's going to go 2 points down this round.
Yeah, so it'll be what, 6-2?
Yeah, I think I would have moved back on the point.
Right, because if you slide into that gap, I mean, Panther can still make it, but then it's a roll off. He can't push you off. You can't do anything. Fail.
Okay, so Phil's got a break there, and Suna would be. Suna's not too concerned there. He's in the box. He's in the driver's seat now.
Yeah,
that's not a big deal. So Phil gets 3, and Suna should get 4.
3 hammers and 2 points. Yeah.
5. Yeah.
So 13 to 11. So either team can win from this round just solely. I mean, Suna's winning solely off of his hammers.
Yep.
Sadly, there's no. He doesn't have like all his hammers sitting on one carrier, so he can't just open it by running. He kind of has to fight this round out. Dark Rain is offline.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a technical round here, Jay, I think. Because it's all going to be classic MCP, bit of dice luck and a few swings here.
Absolutely. Phil's Voodoo's sitting in that prime area to just steal that bottom point and possibly get rid of Toad. But that's about all Voodoo's going to really do, which is well done by Suna. He's kind of negated Phil's Voodoo into nothingness. Suna
has controlled the big threats really well here.
Yeah.
But this is where I would like to see the Dark Rain, probably this round.
Yeah, 100%. Sin easily has the power. Oh, this is a big deal. Out of range. I thought he measured off of range 4 from Shuri. He didn't measure from Okoye.
That's right.
So he's missed the eyeball on it.
So he's going to have to do... Yeah, he'll open up with a Sin and Crossbones pair here.
Did he recall the token? He did not. It is currently sitting on Crossbones. I would have absolutely recalled the token, personally.
You would have forgotten about it. Yeah, it's very easy to do.
It's super easy. It took me my first half of my season as Midnight Suns to remember about that.
Here you go. He's now remembered and feels alive. Yep.
At what point has it gone too far? This is like not in this situation, but you as a player, if you've both done power and like Phil starts measuring attacks.
No. So it does. The way you start around is you gain power.
Yep.
Then you do player effects. Then you do crisis effects. So it's Suna's chance to do it in player effects. And the awkward thing is, I suppose for Phil, you would want to give them the opportunity without giving it away. You'd say, hey, are we ready to start the round? And if Suna says yes, that's done.
Yeah,
Now that's your
that's what I was
competitive.
getting at.
You wouldn't do that in your casual game night, but
Absolutely not.
player effects. So if you go into crisis effects of say you got spider infected, it's too late. Like you can't go one back to player effects then. So it's a stepped process.
Yeah.
And I have no sympathy for voodoo players. I say voodoo, forget it.
Zero.
He's broken enough. So if you forget it,
Too bad.
luck.
100%. I
Yeah.
fully agree with you there. And I literally said that to Reath in the lead up blind obsession. Good play. Bringing that out onto voodoo from Sin.
Yep. Good play.
So 6 dice, which is good odds, I think. That plus the crossbones activation, fairly good odds to get rid of voodoo. At least stays him, doesn't get rid of, and he's recalled his token as well. So at least that means his crossbones is online for the turn as well.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
He's doing some trigonometry again. So he's looking at maybe got your back.
Yep, out of range. Got both characters. Foiled by his own cleverness. No, I think that was a fantastic Winter Soldier play. That shows that Winter Soldier play that Suna did shows that he has heaps of games on him.
I agree. Yeah, that was really strong. It was good to see as well.
Yeah, nice seeing the Soldier get a play.
Right.
He's very slept on.
If he doesn't daze voodoo here, it's game over.
Correct, 100%. Because
I
you
think
token Juggernaut and run, right?
I mean, you're whacking 6 dice times 4, and then you got crossbones as a backup.
Yeah, I mean, it should happen, but, you know, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, right.
3 hits into 0 blocks. That's a good start. No Zemo. On the reroll. Shuri, he drained her last turn, so he'll get a single Shuri reroll, and I don't think this is when you do it. One. A lot of 1 dice. 1 hit attacks.
Good block. Hit and run, we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. He hasn't paid for it, actually.
Maybe he just verbally called it and didn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that, but it should absolutely be hit and run. I'd be surprised if he didn't do it.
Funny to see.
Actually, she's in four of crossbones, so she's in cover there. So maybe she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I think she might stay there and let crossbones pick it up. Crossbones can open the turn by picking it up, and then having a go at whatever.
Yep. So Phil got what he's after. That's good for Phil to keep the game close. Crossbones now activates, picks up a hammer, and probably has some Hail Marys at Panther, maybe. I mean, does he?
I don't know. Panther doesn't have Mantle online right now.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so if I'm Thuna and I'm sitting in this position, as a Wakanda player, I'm feeling a little bit awkward. So, from his whatever happened last turn, Winter Soldier doesn't have the power to teleport.
What's he doing here?
I think he's measuring to see if he can get to that inheritor portal.
He's kidding himself.
Yeah, 100%.
Swing of Panther.
We're actually having a swing of Panther. Right.
Hail Mary Panther. I mean, if it goes well, great, but geez, you don't want to give Panther power.
No, which is what he's just done. 1. That's like the little worst case.
I mean, does he have a crack? Just do his spender?
I think he just did, yeah. He's doing his spender.
Oh, Phil's getting desperate. I don't like this.
Or into 3 blocks.
You haven't got now power to defend yourself.
Yeah, this is a very questionable... I mean, the odds of Panther one-shotting him are... Like, it can happen, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but 4 defense versus, 5 dice reroll. And obviously, like you said, any damage into Panther at this point, it sticks nicely.
I mean, look, he might be softening up for Juggernaut, so it's just a gamble.
He's got a power back.
Phil's realised he got a power back?
Yeah.
Okay. How did he get a power back?
That's a good point. Crossbones generated 1. Maybe you paid too many.
He might have paid too many.
Yeah.
I didn't see what he started on.
Toad
but
coming down here.
I think Phil's realised that he's in trouble, so he's probably doing bit of a Hail Mary plays.
Yeah.
So
This
Nathan's-
Toad has like single-handedly removed this voodoo from the game for the last 3 turns.
Oh yeah, Phil's
Just
been
by
playing.
having his presence there.
Phil's been playing at 14 points basically.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
through Sooner's really good play to negate Phil's
Fantastic
voodoo.
play.
Yep. So Sooner is scoring 6 at the moment. Sorry, 5 at the moment.
Yep.
And Phil needs to take 3 of those off him.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 versus Phil's what? 4? So Phil's getting a 15. Sooner's getting an 18. If he takes 1 off him, Phil gets a 16. So he needs to take 2 off him. And that should do it, right? 2 and stick.
Yeah, you need to take. Well, you need to stop Sooner getting 3 points total.
3 will hold him at 1, 2, 3. Let's get 5. So if you take 3 off him, Sooner doesn't even get to 15. But I mean, if you can race, if you're just racing him to the finish and you want to finish 17, 16, that's still okay.
I think you got to pass and just pray.
Absolutely, yeah. No, he cannot. Like the threat's done, right? Like voodoo is in the ground, it's done.
Right, so he's guaranteeing 1 of the points.
Okay, so that's going to. If he was on 14, I'd be okay with this. Being on 13, though, there is still a world where he doesn't get through this, right? Because we've still got a hammer sitting on Shuri, who is in Juggernaut range, who I think you would absolutely light the fire off on this. And he eyeballed it, and he's out of range. So he's out of range of Okoye as well.
Yeah. So
that's
what
the
he's
second Okoye eyeball he's flopped on.
He's got to move, slide, and KO Okoye, and then flip the portal.
Correct. It's a shame he doesn't have. He does actually. Shame he wasn't in range for the punch from that point, because he actually Shuri couldn't afford to do the the brace for impact.
We can't brace his collision, so
no, I meant the throw the truck.
Throw the truck
with his card, but he was out of range of the attack.
Yep. All right, this is a
third time trying.
Yeah, Juggernaut's third attack, and he's got 1 hit and 2 hits, so maybe he'll get 3 hits this time.
Yeah. Shame though, because he needs to get 4.
There's some conjecture here
going on here.
He's not happy with
if it's about that, he didn't measure that. He absolutely didn't measure that. He eyeballed it going back.
Yeah, it's out of range.
Yeah.
I don't think you can look at it all the time you want, but it's still out.
Still out. That's like with his voodoo, right? Like his voodoo, he measured off the place 4 from Shuri.
All right, does Juggernaut turn up?
Nope.
Oh my god.
Wow.
What a disaster.
Mate, take that Juggernaut, put him in the bin. That is like, do you know what's actually happened here? Is Juggernaut picking up the hammer, has turned off his throw like the entire game, and also made it so he does no damage. That's what's happened. The hammer has nothing to do with it, but I'm choosing to believe that the hammer's done that. So he'll interact with that portal. Shuri can't push him off. In fact, no one can push him off that portal. So that's another point. But I would say Shuri would leave.
I think that's game over.
Correct, because Voodoo can't get to both.
Yep. Yeah, that's disappointing from seeing Juggernaut fail so badly.
Oh my god, Juggernaut rolled the skull as well. So now Shuri can come back and interact with it. That is game over. That skull with that flop of that Juggernaut attack, that is game. Because there is no world where Voodoo can interact with both these bottom points. Shuri's going to cap this and walk away. And Voodoo obviously can't get anywhere near her. Fail. Did not successfully flip it.
It's kind of
not
irrelevant.
that it matters, yeah. It's Voodoo's only activation. We did say if he takes 3 off him though. But he does have Panther. He does have
He's still controlling
Okoye
the.
as well.
He's controlling the bottom point. He's controlling the left point. He's still got Panther.
Yeah.
He needed to KO Shuri. That was his Hail Mary out.
Interesting that you're firing off your voodoo at this point. Do you think you would have passed?
Oh, he's probably realised it's game.
Nails it.
He's just going through the motions here. He's on 5, so he's scoring. He's up to 16. So
Yeah.
in a world where Okoye fails and Panther fails,
So he's moving his voodoo up, and we're probably going to token.
so he needs Okoye to fail this roll, and he needs Panther to fail a roll. And if that happens, they can go to 16 all.
Did not fail.
No.
That Juggernaut has just been 5 threat this game of nothingness.
Yeah, he's been displaced twice by the portals.
Yeah. So we said Phil was playing 4 threat down. I actually think he's been playing 9 threat down.
That's the frustrating part of Marvel, though, isn't it?
It is.
Sometimes
Koye doing a spender in the jugs. Koye showing jugs how it's done.
Oh, the game is so unfair sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, this is Panther, I think, actually.
Why can't I do it? Why does he do it so easily?
Yeah, it's Panther. You would push him into that point, and now you would mantle and...
Well, he just comes back anyway, he just bounces back.
True that. Ooh, double skull on the mantle roll. So Jug's hanging around, doing his best to maintain control of that point. Not that it matters. So 4 going to Suna, he's going to 17, and Bill will get 3, 14. Crossbone's not coming back. Does he have to take damage to come back? He didn't take damage, so he can't even advance back on that point. Not that it matters, but
yeah, you got to suffer damage.
Yeah. So that went perfectly.
Yeah.
Give him a minute.
So we're keen to hear, Jay, what Phil's thoughts are on why he moved away from his 6-0 central defeating Kingpin into Cabal Black Order from Criminal Syndicate. So go away from something that's proven to have worked into a bit of an experiment. Yep.
I think I already know the answer to it, but I'll ask for the sake of our viewers.
Yep.
We'll just give him another minute.
And keen to get Suna's thoughts on Winter Soldier, because I think you're right. He really demonstrated the power of what he can do. And, I think people watch some of this, if everyone watches it and has a look at Winter Soldier and goes, geez, that was pretty handy. Now, his best extract is hammers. I think there's almost no doubt. With a range, because it's a range 5.
Yeah. Range 5, rapid fire, gain power equal to damage dealt.
I mean, his attack becomes better than Cable's. So that's pretty good.
I mean, nearly every attack on this table is almost better than Cable's. Because it all has Wakanda rerolls inbuilt.
That's true. True.
All right, we'll jump over. I'll see you over there.
Yep.
Side, Winter Soldier was good for you, so it was good. I mean, it was a good game and it was close, which is what you want.
G'day, boys.
Yeah, no, Winter Soldier rolled hot.
Hey Jay, how are you, mate?
Very good, self.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Mate,
Want to go have a rum after this?
Yeah, I would have a rum after that Juggernaut.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
He carried me through. I can't remember who I was playing earlier, but I won a game completely. I think it was in a Mike Dan Boys. So it was due to whiff and fail on me eventually.
That's a lot of whiffs. Hey, so a couple quick questions. So we'll start with you, Reath. So 2 questions for you. One, we'll just open with one about this game, which is with how Suna kind of brilliantly kind of disabled your 2 big threat characters on the opener. Like, what was going through your mind to try and get Voodoo and Juggernaut relevant again? And why do you hate Toad so much?
Uh, so I wasn't upset with the initial positioning. I wasn't worried as much about the Crossbones sort of side of it. So I thought him moving Black Panther up was a very good move. So I think maybe in hindsight, yeah, I could have put Voodoo that side. But then, I mean, he flips the coin on me and I'm in the opposite situation. So I wasn't unhappy with how it panned out. And I tried to burn Toad early, which, dice are dice, and it just didn't pay off with a sort of size throw and a couple of hits. So, but no, it was good. I was happy with Juggernaut where he was. I think he was always, as the game moved on, going to be relevant. The rolling the skull on him, I think, was the bit that hurt the most because it stopped him being able to pressure that back point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you had a few. Both you actually had some key moments with skulls in this game from the portals, which were just brutal.
Don't you just hate Spider? I hate the skull component of it. I just hate. I love the shape and I don't mind the pay to flip, but it feels so bad when you get it, and even watching your opponent do the same.
I agree. No, I mean I hate it, and I'm playing it and Mutant Madman, and I hate rolling for it. But I mean I'm taking it for a pure counter meta pick. I mean I don't think Wakanda is like abnormally good on them. I'm literally taking them to counter the meta.
That's a very good pick. The just so you know, Ryan's done the math on your jugs, by the way, and it is a less than 1% chance to roll 4 or less successes on $27. Just so you feel good about that. You're witnessing a moment there, okay?
Yeah, I'm happy that Cena's got to go on and keep winning his games from here, so I don't have to feel too bad about losing this one.
So next question was, we're going to ask about why you swapped away from your, award-winning Swiss topping, Criminal Syndicate and Black Order into your heart pick, your love pick, which is your Sin Cabal.
Primarily because Shadowlands Daredevil wasn't out, and I was a little bit over playing the same picks again, and I also think it wouldn't have taken long for me to lose into probably Brotherhood. I think the extract play and the attrition is enough to counter my Syndicate. I think I would have had a shot, but even every pay to flip game and with some of the stronger players teching for it, I think it's a much harder run up. I think the Black Order and Syndicate mix is a lot better, but I wasn't playing that, and I didn't particularly want to go to that without the, reps of Black Order into Syndicate.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and I agree with you there. There's enough Brotherhood being picked into this cut where the Syndicate players have to sweat it a little bit.
And plus, you got to prove something with Sin, right? Like everyone, I enjoy playing Sin. I think her playstyle, I find her playstyle enjoyable. I just still haven't enjoyed success with her, and I don't felt I played badly that game. I was happy with how it played out, and I think on a different dice, if I rolled probably hot on a few rolls there, it would have been a closer game.
Absolutely. So next question is for Suna. So I love seeing a fellow Winter Soldier player, and I love seeing a Winter Soldier clinic get put on. Did you bring him in just because you really enjoy him, or you brought him in for so you can go 6 wide Wakanda, or what's the secret tech into bringing Winter Soldier into this Wakanda list?
Both. I've been dying to play him since changing. I think he's so freaking good, and I needed to go 6 wide, and so it was either him or Killmonger, and I just liked my options much better bringing him in, and he's Winter Soldier is the old adage. He's way better with the hammer. Well, he's also way better with the reroll. So, I think Winter Soldier is really good, and it really allows me to go 6 wide, whereas before I couldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And 6 wide Wakanda is exceptionally brutal, right? You're moving that Shuri activation further and further back. Same with your Panther. Add Voodoo in there for a bit of spice. It's very, very powerful. And I did enjoy seeing that Soldier play onto Zemo. Both Morgan and I had I've got a lot of games on Soldier, even I didn't pick going back for that. It was really well done. And I'd be curious to see if Reath saw that coming either.
I thought it was home free. I think, the token stuffed out a bit. I think that was one of the errors is I didn't put him in cover. I think I could have placed him just a little bit better closer to that building. But yeah, no, I didn't see the Winter Soldier bit coming. It's amazing to see how agile he is with that Hydra tactics.
Oh yeah,
and I think Suna played him really well to sort of move him around the board with it.
Absolutely. And I think we have one more question. More, do you have any questions for Suna at all?
No, I'm good. You keep going.
All right, too easy. So moving into the cut, what are you worried about, or you don't want to talk about it sooner?
No, I mean I'm an open book, man. I don't care. Honestly, I don't. I know Wakanda had a pretty good record against Brotherhood, and there's like 9 million Brotherhood players, but I don't really want to see Brotherhood. Just because, although I have a lot of tech against them, it's so dicey, man. Like Magneto and some of those guys, like Juggernaut. I know he whiffed this game, but like those guys can just one shot my characters pretty easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as a fellow Wakanda player myself, Juggernaut, Brotherhood can be a little bit dicey. You're good to start with, but as the game goes on and your brace for impact's gone and everything else is gone, it starts to become quite painful with all the auto damage coming in your way. Black
Mhm.
Order, are you concerned about Black Order? I've always found Wakanda to be fairly decent to Black Order.
Yeah, so what's funny is I took Iron Fist out of my list because I didn't think there were going to be a ton of Black Order players in the cut. And there's not a ton. Jacob lost, so I think there's only like one or two left. But no, I mean, I have a very good game into Black Order. I did pick Secures. I'm curious what Reath is, what you're kind of, because I went back and forth whether I wanted Secures or Extracts. Um, but the only reason I didn't pick Extract, because Extracts may lock you out of half your Sin leadership. But then the problem you could then possibly get Demons and Senators and pick 19 points and play Black Order, and that would have been my toughest matchup, I think, out of all of the games.
Yeah, I agree. I think what I should have done is had a third secure in there to guarantee the points value as well. I think Sword, in retrospect, might have been a misplay on my list. I think a higher point, probably 17 to 20 point to facilitate a Black Order play might have been a better pick. But yeah, I agree. That was my plan, is if you had gone extracts, I was looking to counter pick and just force. Spiders was my biggest concern if you'd done that. I think I would have meant to. I think Montesi and Senators was good for me. So
Yeah.
I assessed that you go secures, and I think it was probably the right pick.
Yeah, it was basically an anti-Black Order pick because I pretty much knew if I won Prio and picked Secures, you weren't playing, or it would be very hard to play Black Order.
Yeah, great. I think I would have had a hard game on that. I might have still pulled it out, but I would have had a hard game on that, I think, with Black Order.
Okay, so one last question. Do you find being on the receiving end of multiple successful Sin leadership triggers triggering, or is it just Morgan?
So it is a little triggering. I was prepared for it. So it hurts when, man, you just get that hammer, because like if he doesn't get that hammer off of Panther there with the leadership, like good luck getting it off of him attacking him, especially when I have a Koye and sacrifice targets and stuff like that. Um, the good news is he put it on, which was the right play. Nothing else he could do, but he had him on Sin and Crossbones. And so I could just flood that side of the board to get him off, and Crossbones is so slow he can't go anywhere. Um, but yeah, it's a frustrating leadership. If it was just the secures, it would not be frustrating, but the extracts is pretty frustrating. And I was scared as hell of him pulling legacy cures and running that.
Oh yeah. How do you mentally prepare to be triggered on that level? Do you spend the whole week letting everything be out of your control and just accepting it happen, or?
Yeah, I mean, I literally every time he rolls it, I'm just thinking in my head, he's gonna get it. So if he doesn't get it, then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like I'm expecting him to get it, so I'm just preparing to get it. So I may have made a little misplay. So my plan was to activate Shuri last and push off Zemo, whoever he went by, because I knew he was going to do that. But I forgot to put a third person to go flip this portal over here. So she had to do it.
She had to walk in, go in a bit of
Yeah.
harm's way. That's good. It's good to hear. But thanks for letting me stream that, boys. That was a really, really good game. That was possibly one of the swingiest games we've seen in a while. It was rapidly moving, favor back and forth, which was awesome to see. Phil, I assume you're going to go ahead and just throw that Jugs in the bin, mate. Just delete that character and tell Gronk to put a new one in. But yeah, thanks guys. I'll jump out of here and let you guys keep doing your debrief. But thank you very much. And Morgan, thank you for helping me commentate, mate.
Cheers, mate, and well done, Nathan, on another victory. Bad luck, Philly.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you, boys.
All right. Take care.
All right, guys, that's it from me. The score was, I think it was 18 to 14, I think. 18 or 17 to 14. Really top level play there from both guys. Really unfortunate play for Juggernaut on Reath there. And Suna also had his fair share of unfortunate events, and that's what happens with when you play Portals, right? Portals is a series of controlling, not controlling, is taking advantage of the good stuff when it happens, and just dealing with the punches that is Spider Portals and your characters getting thrown where you don't want to be. Low tier Steve, me and my partner are going to be doing MCP random. Yeah, thank Farmer for that, mate. That's his ingenious there, or his crew, back home are the ones that made it up, and it's fantastic. Yeah, this will be available on YouTube, and yeah, thanks for doing that math for me, Ryan. It's much appreciated, and I'm sure Reath will be very happy to know that he was on the receiving end of a less than 1 in 100 chance of that happening. But yeah, thanks guys. I'll catch you later. See ya.